Hello, hello. All right, I guess we are started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a live stream. I didn't mean to switch over to the thing early. We're gonna switch back. Actually, didn't see anything. um, let's see. So before we get into anything, I do want to take a moment to address that yesterday, I saw, well, because I've been monitoring it somewhat recently, and yesterday I actually saw the confirmation that I've hit 30,000 subscribers. So, thank you, everyone. That's really cool. I like was thinking about it this morning, because this morning, like, I really thought about it, and I was like, wow, that's quite a lot. When did I hit 15,000? I don't remember when that was, but that wasn't too long ago, I think. Let's all find out together. If I look up my name and then 15K. Wow, 2 years ago. Okay. So 2 years we doubled that number, so that's pretty fun. So wow, okay, cool. So yeah, thank you, everyone. This wasn't planned to be a thank you stream. Actually, I was going to be doing the stream today anyways, but now I can say live thank you. So I don't know, I don't have any plans right now for what I'm going to do, but I do definitely want to do something, of course. We'll just have to, or I will have to do my own, I don't want to say research. I'll have to look into what I want to do, but I definitely do want to do something. Before we even start, though, we have a super chat from Seth Inflamed. It was a $10 super chat, just says happy 30K. Thank you for the happy 30K, and also thank you for the super chat. Very cool. So yeah, we'll see what I might just do like a bunch of little things over the next few months or something. So we'll have to wait and see. But I want to do a few things, but I don't know what those things are. I have ideas for what they could be, though. So we'll have to wait and see. If you're not subscribed already, then I guess that means subscribe, and then you could see what I will be doing for 30,000. That's pretty much, that's your incentive to subscribe, not describe. So who's here in the chat? I want to say hi to who's here in the chat. Hello, Aaron Ton, Baracco, Jimmy Jeff, Ender King, Kamen Rider Arc 2, Darth Wang, Wolferno X, Cyber Godzilla, Power Ranger Blocks, Cosmic Fury. Hello, Neurotoxin, APN 8000. It's a big number. Hello, Otto Otarius. Hello, Twin Sisters account. What's the other twin sister? I don't know. Yes, happy Mario Day, Baymaster. Shining Ryusol, Kamen Rider XDs. Okay. Hello, Droid. Okay. Oh, chat refreshed. Now we're back at the bottom. Hello, Mikhail, Rose, Care Spirit, Robo. Okay, so what are we talking about today? I feel like it should be obvious. It's in the thumbnail. I got the links in the description. So and I already accidentally showed off the no, that's the wrong thing. There we go, that thing. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about the when did these scans come out? These scans came out a few weeks ago. I just haven't had the time to talk about them, but now we're talking about them now. So, Seth and Flame sended $10 is also funds for the Majin Shrine. Thank you for the funds for the shrine, which is also mostly already completed, but it's fine. We don't have to worry about that. So, actually, before we start talking about Geats, I do want to remind everyone that I uploaded my big review of Ohsama Sentai Dawn Brothers and episode 1 of Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger. So if you have seen all of Dawn Brothers and you're curious what my thoughts were, be sure to go watch that video. if you saw episode 1 on KINGOHGER and you're curious what my thoughts are, you can either watch the full episode 1 review, or you can go watch my short on the episode 1, because I did that. So if you want a quick little slice of my thoughts, you can go watch the short. If you have like an extra 10 minutes, you can go watch my full video. So whichever format you decide, you can do that. I don't have any I don't want to say what videos is coming next, because I actually am not sure myself, because I am going to be a bit busy with time management in the next few weeks. So we'll have to see what comes next. However, of course, as always, if you do want to be one of the first people to see whatever my next video is as soon as I'm done with that, be sure to check out my Patreon, because I upload Patreon stuff there. No, what? Yes, of course. I upload my videos early there. So, wait a minute. Is the Saber news because of the trailer for Outsiders episode 2? Did I mention your Saber news? Is that in the description? Either way, yes. We are talking about the Saber news from Outsiders episode 2, because that's really cool and I want to talk about it. So, Geats. Okay, so doing the shorts now is actually really funny, because now, usually before I'd use the streams to like recap my thoughts on the shows since I did the last stream, but now I do shorts, so I'm already talking about the episodes every week. So now the live stream is like, what do we talk about? Because now actually, okay, I do know what we can talk about, because now we're just looking at old info. Like, this is stuff we already have seen for a few weeks, and I've already talked about it. But I guess to give my thoughts. So this thing, what is it? This is the I remember we've been talking about this stupid card gun for like literal months. I think I mentioned it in a live stream like genuinely months ago, and it's so crazy now that we finally when it finally showed up, I was like, oh my god, it's real. It's actually it's finally here. So that was really funny. So yeah, the Laser Raise Riser has finally given us those card gun riders that have been rumored for months, or rumored / leaked. I don't remember if it was like 100% confirmed. But now we got to look at the so I think the way they're using it in the show is very interesting, because it's like this overpowered like device, right? Like when Gene was using it, he was destroying what's his face? Natch Sparrow. Like, Natch Sparrow didn't have a chance against, and Buffa actually. They didn't have a chance against Zine. And he was destroying like those Yamato and stuff. And then we have 4 of these riders. We have the other supporters have their own CG monster forms, which rider forms, which I'll talk about in a second, I guess. But I do think it's interesting that we've only seen Barobuzz twice, and the other 2 have only shown up once, and we have no indication when they're going to ever show up in the forms again. But I think that's kind of interesting. Like, I like how we've set up these 4 super powerful riders, but 3 of them don't seem to be taking they're not, like, actively participating, I guess, which makes sense within the rules of the show, because they're not players. And the nice thing then is they're all CG, like, monstrosities. So they're not going to be, like, a period all the time as CG monstrosities. The guy who has a suit is, like, the guy who's actively participating, at least so far. And I think that's really cool. Like, I think they're using, like, the CG very well in order to, like, we have these 3 interesting rider designs. Like, these 3 are Kamen Riders. I think that's kind of cool. And then, but they're not, like, always appearing, so it's not like we don't always have to deal with, like, the weird CG of these riders. Like, presumably the next time Barobuzz shows up, then the other 2 will show up. So it's kind of like a once-in-a-while thing of, like, the 3 CG supporter riders. But then we're going to actively be getting Gene, because, and then, like, that fits with his personality because he wants to fight with Ace and stuff, and then it fits with, like, the aesthetics of everything because he's the only one who's a human in an actual suit. So I think it really works out. Like, I really love the way they've got all of this working out. And then in it, as I mentioned, like, they seem to be very powerful, but 3 of them aren't actively appearing. It's only this one guy who, again, is human-sized, so he's not, like, as powerful. So I think that's pretty cool. Like, I don't usually care about power scaling in Rider. Like, it's whatever. But I think it's kind of interesting, or not interesting. Actually, I really like the way Geats has been handling, like, the power levels of Riders, where, like, we introduced the Vision Driver with Glare, like, very early on, and now we've got Glare 2 and Gazer, but, like, they haven't really, like, in a lot of seasons, they'll introduce, like, this super powerful villain Rider, and then he gets defeated, like, at a certain point, and then he just kind of keeps getting defeated over and over and over. Like, Thouser from Zero One is at least a big one I think of, where, like, there was a certain point in the show where Riders just kept beating him up, and it was like, so what's the point of him now? Like, he's just there to get beat up. And even, I'll say, I'll even bring, since we're talking one Takahashi show, we'll bring in the other. I'll say even in XA, like, Cronus, once Muteki debuted and was defeated by Cronus, or no, Cronus was defeated by Muteki, like, he stays around, so it's kind of like the thing of, like, what, he doesn't feel very powerful anymore, because he's just there's a form that can beat him. And the Glare Vision Rider, the Vision Riders using the Vision Driver don't have that problem right now, because they only have, like, like, one fight scene each, or Glare is 2, I guess, but, like, they're, in every fight scene they've been shown to be very powerful. They weren't defeated. It's just that they're hero riders, but they're also not actively taking a villain role. So, like, it feels balanced. Like, I still feel like whenever someone puts on a Vision Rider, it's gonna be, like, they're gonna be very powerful. Because we haven't really diminished the powerfulness of the rider, the characters using the Vision Driver. So I like they're doing the same thing with this Laser Raise Riser, where, like, it still feels powerful, like Gene using the thing, and when these 3 will show up, hopefully again at some point, it'll still feel powerful, because they're weird CG things. The designs of these are kind of, I don't know, I'm mixed on it. Like, Gene himself is fine, I guess. It's just, with Geats, they had this very nice, like, aesthetic setup where, like, you can really see it with the Vision Riders, where they've got, like, there's this very distinct jawline, or, like, segmentation with the top half and bottom half of the heads, which obviously is meant for the Geats Riders, because that's how those forms work. The only unique part of them is that helmet, and then the buckles create the jawline. So then the Vision Riders kind of replicate that as well. And then the other layer onto that is, like, they have this symmetrical, like, design. Like, the top of the Vision Riders looks like it would be the bottom, which is very interesting. Which is, like, the fever forms and the command forms. So they've set up this aesthetic through line where it's like, if the top and the bottom of the suit has the same kind of design functionality, it's a powerful form, I guess. I like that, which we'll see, obviously, with Boost Mark II. And these kind of, I don't want to say they throw them away, because when you look at the CG Riders, they're just so drastically different. It's kind of impossible to say they changed it up, because they're already so different. Like one of them's a frog. Like, that's not fitting into the aesthetics no matter what. So I guess it's really just, you look at Gene, and he's completely asymmetrical. Like, if you mirrored him through the middle, he'll look like a completely different rider, like, every time. And, it kind of bugs me, but I also, like, at the same time, it's like, they're using guns, not belts, so it's like they're already using a completely different rider system. And, like, I mean, Gene kind of fits in with, like, the way the card goes through his head. It does kind of create that segmentation with the top half of the head and the bottom half. And then when you look at these, Baroba's the only one you can really use as an example, the way that card works in the head doesn't really fit that aesthetic. So I don't know. I'm like, I like the Jean suit, and I think Verobuzz is very cool. The big mecha bull, and the other two are just kind of weird. I think for Kekara it's very funny because we've established him as a frog, so the fact his rider form is a frog is just amazing. It's hilarious. I don't know what Kyun's thing is though. I mean, I know what it is. I just, that's kind of weird. Especially, too, because it's like, he's like the tsundere or something, and then he's just a big flying lion. So, that's an interesting thing. But yeah, Vision Riders are cool, I guess. No, these aren't Vision Riders. What do you call these? Laser Riders? Because we got Desire Riders, Vision Riders, and, Laser Riders, I guess, because they use a laser raise riser. Also, one other thing too I really like about the laser raise riser is that it uses the same voice actor as the Vision driver, and that's like, and they also both have like purple detailings. Like the Vision driver has purple belt straps, and this has like purple details, and the riders themselves also have purple details. And that's a really, like, it's a very small thing, but I think it's a really cool, like, little aesthetic through line that they did, where these upper tier systems of the Desire Grand Prix have these purple little detailings, and they use that other voice. So that's cool. So, this thing, too, I just threw this in. I kind of already talked about this in the short, and there's not really much going on here other than Buffa's using command, which I think is so cool. Like I love that. I love that especially in this last episode, I think it's very cool. I find it interesting that like Command and Fever kind of disappeared after they debuted in like last year. But then they've been making consistent comebacks, and this last episode brought both of them back for the bad guys in like a big way. And I love that. Like, I love how this show, it feels like in this show, they're really taking the time to make these power-ups matter. Like, Buffa gets to use a toy that came out, Buffa uses like the quarter 1 upgrade toy, essentially, right? Which, first of all, has never happened. No, it has happened in Xaid. But no, it hasn't. Because Dragonite wasn't like that upgrade. So I don't think upgrade forms have ever been shared between riders. That's not the secondary, of course. So that's awesome. But then, like, too, we bring back Fever Slot as, like, I don't think there's any pictures in here. Yeah, unfortunate. But the Jamato get to use the Fever Slot, which is so cool because it's like so many things at once. It's like we get to bring back this quarter 1, just like, it wasn't even upgrade form. It was just a quarter 1 random power-up. So we get to bring that back, and it still has relevance in the show. And like in any other show, it's like, oh, that toy's gone now. But then it's this super cool thing where we get to see the Jamato get to use buckles. And that's such a unique thing. But because of how Fever Slot works, where it randomly gives them power-ups, we just get to see Jamato use random buckles. Like, they don't have to seal the buckles, they just use Fever. I don't know, it's so many things at once. It's like, I love it. It's so cool. Like, I was freaking out when I saw the Jamato. Like, when the preview pics of next episode dropped, and we saw that Buffa was going to be using Command, the same episode the Jamato were going to be using Fever. I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, we're really using these forms. Like, Geats is like the one show in years where it feels like all these forms actually matter. And it's like, I mean, it's because of like so many things. Like, just making everyone use the same belt, and the only difference is like their head, makes it very easy to swap out parts for anyone. Because there's no like, you don't have to design, well, for Command, I guess, they didn't make a new visor. But other than that, like, there's no different way you have to, like, redesign the Command twin buckle for Buffa to use. It's just, he can use it. Anyone can use it. So, I think that's great. What else was I gonna say? I think that was it. Oh, I do really hope that Powered Builder gets to make a comeback. Because okay, like another thing too, I love how the show really uses its base forms, or no, it really does not care about like base forms, because Geats barely uses Magnum Boost, and that's the base form of the show. Like, it's in all the marketing and stuff. And then but like when he got Powered Builder, he was using that like consistently as his power up, which is super cool. Or like, is it a power up? Does it count as a power up? He just like uses it as a form. I don't know if it counts as a power up. I don't consider it a power up, because it's kind of just like any other buckle. It just uses it just has multiple weapon features, I guess. Is the stream fine? Someone's asked if the stream is over. I don't think the stream is over. Guys, is the stream over? No, it is not over. Okay, I don't know. Magnum Boost is the based form. That is true. It is based, but that's not what I intended to say. So what I was saying, I hope Powered Builder comes back, but like another rider could use it. Like, since we got that set that came out now, where there's Gigant Dueler and Gigant Breaker with the Geats and Tycoon weapons. It would be really cool if one of them just started using it, like, as one of their power-up forms or something. The thing is, I can't imagine it working very well with them. The yellow would probably clash, unless they just made a new helmet randomly, like commanded with Tycoon. So that's possible. Or, I mean, the thing is, I think it would look perfect on Nago, because the yellow and the gold. The thing is, there's no Gigant, axe, right? That's what it would be called, Gigant axe. There's a buckle that they just made that's in, like, a Gashapon set. The thing is, it's not a sound in the toy. So, I mean, granted, they don't really have to care about that. It's like a 2-second sound that plays. You can still have her in the upgrade form. She gets to use the axe. So, you know, maybe we'll... Either way, I want someone to use Gigant Builder. I think it would be super cool to bring that back as a power-up for someone. And, I mean, I feel like they will, right? Like, I mean, like, Command got brought back, like, somewhat consistently with Tycoon, and now Buffa gets to use it. And Fever got brought back consistently after, like, it was gone for multiple episodes after Buffa used it in the end of the second arc. And then Lopo brought it back with Boost, and then we brought it back again now with the Jamato. So I feel like it's very possible we'll get to see Command back maybe in a couple weeks or something. So yeah. So the big thing, the actual big things coming up is Geats' super form is making its arrival in the show, which is Boost Mark II. And this is what it looks like. And no pun intended, just because of the fire. I think this form is very hot. It's red and black and gold, and I love that color combination. So I think this form looks amazing. I cannot wait to see it in action. I discovered through my own research that the director of the next episode where it debuts is the same guy who directed the Cross Saber debut. He's directed multiple episodes of Revice as well, and the last time he directed in Geats was, they had that one scene. The last episode he directed in Geats was when Buffa used Zombie Boost. So we got that scene everyone talks about where they did like a 360 spin on like everyone with all the cards. So we could be seeing something like that. But either way, visually the form itself is amazing. I really like this. So one other thing I was talking about earlier, where like Geats has this interesting design aesthetic where like powerful forms are symmetrical top and bottom. So this is symmetrical top and bottom. Like it's basically a fever form. Is this? Oh, here's another shot of it. It's basically like a fever form. They made this new boost design, and it's been replicated on the bottom half, complete with the claws, and the golding on the chest is split on its, and it's on both legs. And I think that's super cool. Like, I love how they did that. But then I was wondering, like, wait, so what happens if he revolves on? Because like, if he revolves, nothing changes, right? And they actually yeah, they do show that in this. So on this thing, if you look on the left, you can see he's revolved the belt, and that turns him into the Boost Striker, like, Kitsune mode. He becomes the Kitsune thing. It's like the remix in Revice, except it's just him. Or no, is it a remix of him in the Boost Striker? You decide. And you can see in the picture the Kitsune is wearing the Desire Driver, so that's Geats. Geats turns into the the Kitsune, and I mean, it's kind of a weird little thing, but I really love that that's caused from the functionality of flipping the belt, or revolving the belt. I just think it, because I saw this and I was wondering, like, so what happens if he revolves, or like, can he put it in the other side and he does the same form, right? Because it does both halves, and both halves look the same, and then it's like, oh no, he turns into a fox. Okay, I'm glad we clarified that. It's really thank you. So hot looking form. I will say, like, a minuscule complaint is I feel like the helmet is a bit much. Like, you can see on the side profiles, it gives him like this big fox nose, and I think it looks kind of weird. And it, like, the top half of his helmet now looks very big, and it kind of makes the jaw seem small, and I think that's a bit weird. Not sure what's going on with that. So if I had to make like a little complaint, or yeah, you can definitely see what I'm talking about here with the big nose. But I still think it's cool, and I also think this is the first time his actual helmet has changed, I believe, right? Because no other buckles changed his helmet. Because Command only changes Tycoons. I think that's kind of weird. I don't know why that happens in universe. Actually, I don't even know why that happens from a toy perspective, because like, he doesn't use Command really anymore. He barely used Command, even though they kind of marketed it as like Geats Jet, or Jet form is Geats' form because orange and red, and then Command form was Tycoon's form because blue and blue. So they gave him the blue helmet to match, but then he like barely used Command, and like he had Command in some episodes and he just did not use it. He didn't feel like using it. So yeah, I don't know, that's kind of funny, but we can, is whatever. I did see a few of you were wondering if any riders can use Boost Mark II, and I have no idea. I don't know what to tell you. I do now. There is, I feel like in universe, there's no reason no one else could use Boost Mark II, because we've already established everyone can use normal Boost. With Buffa, it was established that the Kitsune turns into the respective animal whenever someone else uses the Boost Striker. So theoretically, it seems like Geats is fusing with the Boost Striker, which is why he looks more like a fox and there's more motorcycle parts. So, like, theoretically, if someone else were to use Boost Mark II, they would get the same suit, and then the helmet would change, and the helmet's already different for each rider. So I mean, I see no reason why canonically someone can't use Boost Mark II. It's just, I don't know why, or no, not I don't know why. I don't see them letting anyone else use Boost Mark II, because it's the super form now. They probably want the main rider to consistently use the super form. However, this is the same show where Geats barely went without using Magnum for a few episodes, because a Panda Rider and Buffa were using Magnum. The Panda Rider disappeared after a few episodes, so it's just they gave it to some one-off character. The Boost Buckle has been consistently used by more characters than Geats himself. So I could see them letting like Tycoon using it for once. I mean, if I want to say I wouldn't be surprised, but I genuinely don't think they'll let anyone else use this form. It does feel like a Geats exclusive, like finally giving him, like, since it's a super form, they're like, we want to only let Geats use it. But I don't know, with this show, they could let someone else use it, so I have no idea. The thing I'm really excited for though is Laser Boost. So if you remember back whenever, like, so I think it was like November, we were talking about the rumors, all the rumors that we were talking about today, now that they're actually real. One of the rumors said that the super form would be Boost Mark II, which we obviously know now, and then it said that then there would be an upgrade to the super form that he would get by using this gun transformation device that the supporter riders were using. And I specifically said in that stream, I was like, we've never had, and I'm pretty sure this is still true. I didn't really do research, but I don't think we've ever had a transformation device weapon, or like a transformation device in general, just get used as a gimmick for another belt to use. Like, the closest I can think of is the Gashat Gear Duel in Xaid, because Paradox used it, but then he used it in the Gamer Driver to get a new form, and it also wasn't really like it's a separate transformation device, but it's still like Gashat, like it's called the Gashat Gear Duel, so it's basically he's just using a Gashat to transform, and then the logical next step is put the Gashat in the belt, because that's where all the Gashats go. So this thing is like, we made this gun weapon, this gun transformation device. It's just a gun transformation device, but then it's also a gimmick. It's a buckle piece, and I love that. Like, I think it is so cool. I love like the ingenuity of this, turning a transformation device into another buckle to use. But then it's like, in addition to that, the way they have everything set up is that it's an evolved Magnum Boost. He's using Boost Mark II, and then he's using a literal gun as the replacement for Magnum. It's not just the Magnum race buckle. This is an actual gun. He's putting an actual gun into the belt, and it upgrades the boost form even further. So now it looks like an upgraded like Magnum Boost. And then like the name Laser Boost, instead of a Magnum, it's a futuristic laser gun. I love that. It is so cool. Now, the form itself has a little bit to be desired. Granted, we haven't really seen this in action. So I don't really know what I could... I can't really put my finger on what's missing with it for me. We do have a super chat though from ThatMan666 with $6.66. Thank you so much for the super chat. And they do bring up an interesting point that the closest we got was the Zengoku driver using the Genesis core. That is true. That was yeah, I would say that's probably the closest, because I was combining part of a belt with another belt. But yeah, it's still, I mean, this is still combining, like, in quotes, the whole belt with the other belt. But yeah, I will say that's pretty close. Actually, they both slide into like the side too, so that's funny. So I feel like it's the helmet again on this thing. Like the helmet, the white, the blue eyes. The blue eyes feel weird to me. I get it's because Jean has blue eyes, but I feel like I don't know how I feel about the blue eyes on this thing. Especially because Magnum Boost has red eyes, or like the orangish eyes. And then he also has like the horn. He keeps Jean's horns, and that looks a little weird to me. I wonder. Yeah. You can see it way better here. Yeah, the horns are kind of weird. But either way, like other than that, like I feel like the horns maybe you could have done without. But I love, at the very least, the concept of this makes it like one of my favorite rider forms. It's an upgraded like base form, which I love as like super form concept stuff, but the way it's an upgrade of the base form is like one half of it is a transformation device, and I think that's so cool. And then there's more to it with like the programming of like the belts and the way it all interacts in the belt and the gun and stuff, but I won't get into that now. I'll probably wait. I'll wait to talk about that when I actually get these toys and unbox them, because I will be doing that when they come out. So, also one other thing too is maybe I kind of wish there was more white. I don't know. Like on one hand, I do like that it is just kind of this little armor attachment to Boost Mark 2. Like, I think that's interesting that they didn't like fully replicate, or like, yeah, I think it's interesting they didn't fully replicate Magnum Boost, because it's working differently. Like, I like they just put armor on it. But maybe, I don't know, maybe white gloves would have been cool. I just wish maybe there's a little more white, so it really looks like there's this power edition, I guess. But I also do really like the use of the armor, and I also love the use of like the front skirt piece, or the addition of that. I think it looks really nice, and it looks flows very nicely with the back pieces too. So here's the toy. I just wanted to put this in because I think the toy is super cool. How it uses this. It's a transformation device gun, and they're like, it's also a gimmick. You can put it in the belt. Also from like working with the sounds too. I think it's kind of fun that the Laser Raise Riser only makes the Boost Mark II sounds if it only makes the Laser Boost sounds if the Boost Mark II buckles in the belt. And I thought it would just be when the Laser Raise Riser's in the belt, it just makes those laser boost sounds. So I think it's really cool they managed to make them like work together like that. And I don't know, I think it's super cool. I'm excited to get these toys. I really like these toys. I really like these forms. A few of you are asking if the things I'm saying are horns or like ears. I think yes, they are supposed to be like Gene's ears, like the wolf ears. If you look at the helmet backwards, it's like a wolf. But like on the suit, they look like horns. So I'm just saying they're horns. So horns. He's got horns. But also, okay, yeah, another thing too. There's like a little stuff here that's very interesting, which is so he's fighting Glare 2. So who is Glare 2 is my question. That's because we have a few people who it could be. I thought it could have been Chirami. I feel like it still could be Chirami. He goes over to like the enemy side and then he becomes Glare 2. But I don't know, he seems very like he gave them the Natch. Like I was thinking he'd go over to their side because he gave them the Natch Sparrow core, so he kind of seems like he's open to like switching sides. But then on the other hand, it's like, I don't know, he seems very set to be with the DGP. It's just he kind of was messing around with giving away that Natch Sparrow core. So if we get rid of Chirami, I was thinking it could either be I was thinking it would be Beroba, because she's the game master with that belt now. But also, yeah, a few of you are already saying it in the chat, and I didn't even think about this when I was like making my tweet on Twitter. It could be Archimedal, the Jamato guy, or the gardener. He could be putting on the belt and transforming into Glare 2, which that would be really cool. I'd really like. I think a lot of people are always like saying like at this point it's kind of a joke. It's like, oh, I can't wait for this side character to become a Kamen Rider. But if he becomes a Kamen Rider using someone else's rider form, I think that's really cool. Like I do like how they can do that. Like I honestly I really I do wonder what was the point of Glare, or what is the point of Glare 2? Because Glare 2 is still a thing. Like why did they go to this effort of repainting Glare and making a whole new jingle and stuff, but it's the same belt? Like there's no difference. If you bought the Vision driver for Glare and then Glare 2 was announced, how many people were really like, oh, now I need this belt because Glare 2 is in it? Like, I feel like Glare and Gazer would have already sold people on the belt. So I don't know, I'm just curious. I'm like, why did they go to that effort of making glare 2 when they could have just used normal glare? I feel like it was perfectly serviceable. So, anyways, laser boost. I think that's all there was. Yeah, here's Disaster. We'll talk about Disaster in a second. So, what do we think about Geats' 2 new forms coming up? What's Boost Mark 2 debuts tomorrow? I assume Laser Boost is the next week, because the Boost Mark 2 toy comes out next week. Which actually I did want to bring something up too that I forgot that just reminded me of, which is I did see a few people were a bit annoyed that like we're getting these 2 forms debuting like back to back. Which is kind of, in general, a trend that Reiwa has kind of had. Like, let's see. So in 01 Shining Hopper debuted and only had like 2 episodes before it got replaced by Shining Assault Hopper. In Saber, we only got Primitive for a few episodes before we only got Elemental Dragon. We only got Primitive Dragon, then we went to Elemental. Revice did it twice, that rhymes, where we only got Bodied for a few episodes before switching to Volcano, and we only got Jack for a few episodes before switching to Thundergale. So this is... The thing is, like, I can kind of see how you would think that looking at this, like, oh, we're only going to get Boost Mark 2 for an episode before switching to Laser Boost. But with the way this show has been working, like, I really don't see that happening. Like, especially, too, Geats has to be using someone's laser raise riser to use this, right? Like, unless the management is just like, here, you can take half of the gun. Or I guess he gets a whole new gun, because he's using it to fight in some of these images. But, so it's like, it kind of seems like it's like, oh, he only gets to use Boost Mark 2 and then he upgrades to Laser Boost. But, like, with the way this show's been working, probably not. Like, he might go straight to back to using Powered Builder or something. Like, they've been very fluid with the way everyone's using these forms. But then also, like, we don't know how Boost Mark 2 works. Like, will Boost Mark 2 fly away after he uses it, like the normal Boost form? Or, again, I brought it up, but then I got sidetracked. If he's using, like, Jean's Laser Raise Riser, surely then he can't use it all the time, because sometimes we have to get Jean as a rider sometimes. So, like, you know, maybe sometimes we'll get Jean and Mark II fighting together, because he can't give away his Laser Raise Rider. So, I don't think... It doesn't really feel to me like they're really replacing Boost Mark II, like, immediately after it debuts. It feels more like... I mean, it just like the visual concept of the form, it feels like this logical progression of Magnum Boost, where, like, he could be Magnum Boost, or Boost Magnum, or Boost on the bottom, or Magnum on the bottom. We'd get rid of the bottom forms and some of the solo forms with Magnum, but it does feel like the same thing. Like, we could get only Boost or Boost Mark II in a couple episodes, and then next episode, Jean gives him the Laser Raise Rider, and he switches to Laser Boost. So I have confidence in this show that, like, they're not going to replace Boost Mark II immediately, because that's just not how it's really been working. So, like, it goes against kind of like a lot of the things they've already been doing. But also, this is the first time where I wouldn't really mind, because I do really like Laser Boost. So it's fine with me if they want to keep using Laser Boost. We got a super chat from Seth Inflamed again. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, RIP to the small regular armed buckles. That's true. I do wish they kind of kept bringing those back. They really underutilized them, honestly, in general. Like, there's so many moments where, like, you could have the riders use one of those on the bottom while they use a big buckle. At the very least, we could get something on their legs, like the little strap on their legs, and maybe they get an extra weapon sometimes. So yeah, I mean, just in general, the show's kind of been underutilizing those small buckles. But yeah, there are still sounds unused in the belt for those, so maybe they'll bring them back if they want to sell those toys. at the very least in a premium Bandai set, maybe, because they do have to sell the Tycoon, Nago, and Buffa like supporter boxes, because the Geats one is retail, and we don't know where those other ones are. So maybe they'll do a big premium Bandai set or multiple premium Bandai sets of those supporter boxes, and they'll come with 2 of the missing armed buckles that aren't out yet. So we will have to see. So, Kamen Rider Disaster. Does everyone remember Disaster from Kamen Rider Saber? Well, he's back. He has a book, and he's turning into Kamen Rider Disaster in episode 2 of Kamen Rider Outsiders, the show that also gave us Oja Survive. And I didn't talk about it in the live stream because I think it looks fine, but I also haven't seen Ryuki, so I don't really care. But I love Saber, and I've talked about Saber extensively on this channel, so I figured we could bring in Kamen Rider Disaster and talk about Kamen Rider Disaster for a second, because I think I really love this is happening. Like, I think it's super, because Disaster turned into Falcon in the show for like one fight scene, which was kind of upsetting. They only did it for one fight scene, but then he kept using Kiyomu for like the big fight with Kenzan, and then Kenzan went out to keep Kiyomu for his big final battle with the Calamity Strike. So it was pretty cool that they kept that like staying. It stayed important, but I think it's really cool. He just gets his own rider form now. Like I liked him as Falcon. I wish they would have kept him longer as Falcon, but I much prefer his rider form, and I much prefer that he gets his own unique rider form. And also, I think it's really cool too that he gets a new sword too. He has a new emblem, and then he gets to use a sword driver, and obviously a new belt, of course. So I really love that. I think it's very cool. It's a great looking form, great looking everything. Like even like the Disaster suit itself looks very cool. So I'm really glad they kind of just rider-fied it to turn him into a Kamen Rider. Like, they just took the way he already looked and made it a rider. Because like even the shoulder pads, like his normal form has the fox shoulder pads, and this form has like more style, like simplistic fox shoulder pads. It obviously has the red, like the way his face even looks with like the red piece on his head and then the silver bit on the bottom, like that's obviously happening here on the rider form. And then on one of the shots, actually I don't think you can see it in any of these shots, but oh no, you can kind of see it here. He keeps his scarf as well, so that's really neat. Someone's asking what suit was reused for Kamen Rider Disaster. It was the arms and legs are reused from Kamen Rider Fuma from Kamen Rider Ex-Aid, which is it's just funny because the chest piece of that form was reused for the V Cinema forms for Live and Evil in the Revice movie. So I think it's kind of fun that that suit in its entirety is just kind of gone now. And also, like, what's also really weird is that the undersuit is not Kamen Rider Fuma, which some of you are saying, but it's designed like Fuma's suit. Like, it has the exact same detailing, even like the little hexagon patterns in the purple bit are Fuma. Like, that's Fuma's design, but it can't be Fuma's undersuit because you can't repaint clothes like that. So it's just funny, they're like, we have to make a new undersuit. And we'll just design it the same as the armor that we're stealing. And as far as I know, obviously the helmet is new. And a lot of people have been like talking about the chest and the shoulder pads, trying to figure out what they're reused from. But I don't believe they're reused from anything. A lot of people keep thinking the shoulder pads are reused from something, but they're really not. I myself thought they were from Cross Magma, but they're completely different. So it seems like the chest, shoulder, and the head's usually always new for forms like this. So it seems like the chest and shoulders are new, which is pretty cool. So, and as someone pointed out too, you can also see in this shot specifically, you can see his eyes through the visor, and I think that's really badass. Like, I love that little design aspect to keep his, like, it looks exactly like Disaster, right? Like, if you showed me this during Kamen Rider Saber, I would have told you this is a Kamen Rider Disaster, but I love they kept that little personality of the rider and kept his little eyes in there. So I haven't seen either of the actual Outsiders episodes yet. I think I'm just waiting for it all to be finished whenever it's all finished, and then I'll just watch it all together. I might do a video on it. It does seem it's a very cool thing they're doing. Like I didn't have as big of a reaction to Ryuki, or not Ryuki, Oja Survive, just because I haven't seen Ryuki. But the fact they're giving Oja Survive form is very cool. I obviously love the Genmu Muso form. And now Zast gets his own kind of, like, final form, I guess. They're all getting, like, special final forms, I guess. But in Zast's case, he's just getting a whole rider form. So, yeah, I really like what they're doing in Outsiders. I don't know what the story is. I just I haven't watched it, so I don't know what the ideas here are, but I like looking at these suits they're making and going, yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad that you're making that. So I am going to be buying this this book and this emblem thing just because it's super cool. I love they're doing that. So look forward to the V cinema of my Saber unboxings, where I am going to be unboxing the Kamen Rider Disaster sword and book. Or not, I guess not the sword, it would be the emblem and the book. So, someone asked, what villain rider do I want to be the next episode? Honestly, I have no idea. I mean, at this point, they could do whatever, and it would be fantastic. I did see a few people bringing this up, and I guess this is what I'd have to say, is I'd really love if they did Rogue versus Mad Rogue. Because I believe someone who worked on the show said that one of the V cinemas they planned was Rogue versus Mad Rogue, but then or a hyper battle or whatever, they just never got around to it. So I'd really love if they did Outsiders 3 to be Rogue versus Mad Rogue, and you could give whoever you need to get a new form. You can give Rogue the new form, Mad Rogue the new form, however you want to do it. But I'd really love if they just found some way to give us Rogue versus Mad Rogue. I think that's cool. Gentoku's actor advocated for it. Okay, so it wasn't planned, but they did. Someone official, as in the actor himself, wanted it to happen. So, yeah, make it happen is what I'm saying. Because, yeah, Nico's in the new episode, which is very cool. I don't know. When I saw Nico was in the episode, I'm like, what? What is like, I love how random these episodes seem to be. Like, episode 0 is Genmu Muso versus Woman Delta from, like, continuing a plot thread from Fi's 20 years ago or something. Like, just very random. Episode 1 is the Oja getting Survive form, but who is he beating up? Or, I don't think he's beating him up, but who's cameoing in the episode? Kamen Rider D-End. Who is Kamen Rider Disaster fighting? Kamen Rider Arc 0. Who's also in the episode? Nico from Kamen Rider X8. It's just, like, very random, but I think that's the charm of Outsiders. Like, we get random riders just get their own forms or whatever. Random characters show up, random people show up to fight them. It's just this melting pot of random Kamen Rider concepts, and I think it's really cool. So, honestly, what I really want is for Nico to get a rider form. I don't really... Rogue versus Mad Rogue is just like, well, I guess you could do this for villains, but I really want Nico to get a rider form, like an actual. Well, actually, I mean, I don't know if she needs I would want her to get an actual rider form, but I'd actually kind of be okay if they just brought back Nico Snipe from the stage show, because she didn't really henching into that. It was like a virtual reality thing, so it would be very cool to have to at least see her on screen use Bang Bang Tank and transform into Nico Snipe form. But if it was up to me, I'd give her a whole new rider form. I don't know what game she... Oh, no, I do know. I would use the... Well, I think there was not concept art. There was fan art. There's been fan art for a while of Nico using the Gashat Gear Duel beta. Either, like, she uses it in the gamer driver to fuse the Snipe and Brave forms to create this whole new form that's her, or or she used it on its own, and she took on like Tattle Quest or Tattle Fantasy and Bang Bang Simulation forms without a gamer driver, and that was like her rider forms. Actually, I think I would really like that. I'd like if they did that. The thing is, they don't sell a new toy by doing that. They're reusing the toy from years ago, so they're probably not going to do that. They'd probably just make a new toy and just use it in the gamer driver, because they do kind of sell the gamer driver still. So I think there was a re-release. At least there was a US release of it. So, yeah. Or they could use she could use Bang Bang Tank. She could use Bang Bang Shooting and Bang Bang Tank together. That's just her base form, I guess. So we'll see. I just make her a rider. That's all I want. Just have her transform on screen. That would be very cool. And then it'd be funny if she beat up Kuroto, but I don't need that. I just need her to transform. Well, I also don't need her to transform. I just want her to transform. So, if she transformed with the Proto version, that would be very interesting, actually. Proto Bang Bang Shooting, because we haven't seen that on screen. Well, we saw Snipe use it in episode 0, but he, for some reason, only used level 1. So she could use it as level 2. That would be very interesting. What about Ryugen versus Kamen Rider Meteor or Rebirth? I mean, if they did that, that would be cool, but I don't really think of that. I've never really thought of that as I need that, so... Will Nico really have a rider form? Genmu was represented in Outsiders from X8. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't think she'll transform, but I want her to transform. They don't have to make it like the whole part of the episode. Like, they could still give a villain rider like his whole thing, and she just transforms in it for the sake of transforming it. Because it's also still like, just why bring her back in civilian nonetheless, if she's like the actual actress is back, if you're not going to do something interesting with her. I don't know. It seems very random, I guess. This could be where they finally bring back Chase from Drive. This could be where they finally bring back Chase from Drive. I like that. I haven't seen Drive, but I would not be opposed to that. Again, it's very interesting. Like, we're gonna continue every plot thread in Outsiders. Okay, yeah, have fun. So yeah, this could be. But then Chase would get a new form. Actually, that would be very cool. I'd like a new Chase form. They could make it actually look good. I'm just kidding. The Chase form doesn't look bad, but the biggest downgrade of all time is going from Machine Chaser to Kamen Rider Chaser. Like, how do you fumble? I mean, I get why it looks so different, but it's also just like Machine Chaser. You guys really hit it, and then you had to leave that one behind. So honestly, they should if they give Chase a new form, they should just do something with the Machine Chaser suit and combine it with normal Chaser. So I think that's all for Kamen Rider Disaster. Yeah, KINGOHGER. There's actually not that much for KINGOHGER, which is kind of why I was talking so much about the rider stuff, because I put a bunch of images here, but it's like, here's all the KINGOHGERs. Here's some what's his name? I forgot his name. Here's Gira. KINGOHGER. Here's everyone else fighting. Did Yellow just stab that man? That's unlucky. Here's all the KINGOHGERs together. Here's all their kingdoms. We've already seen all of the thing is, we've already seen all this. We haven't seen this, actually. This is pretty cool. They're all the Naginata mode. I don't recall seeing it in an episode yet, or in anything. So that's actually, I like how long it is. The handle gets so much longer. Oh my god, that's funny. Here's Red fighting. I mean, this is the next episode. Here's KINGOHGER. We saw him fighting. We've seen this mecha for a while. Here's KINGOHGER fighting again. Now here's new stuff. New stuff in quotation marks. We've seen this thing for a while. This is just our first time seeing the suit of it, which is God Kabuto, I believe. That's the name of it. So actually, I believe for God Kabuto, this little blurb at the bottom right gives us new info where apparently the bad guys, the Bugnarok, their main goal is to collect these 3 shoe god treasures, and that will allow them to reclaim the human world or something to that effect. So this is one of them. There's God Kabuto. And then we know from leaks / the first episode, which showed us the combination that we're getting God Bata, which creates a chest piece, and God Sasori. It would be God Sasori, which is a scorpion, which is forming like the other arm weapon. So that's apparent, as they established in episode 1. That's like the super important KINGOHGER combo thing. That's apparently like relevant to the plot of the show, because that's the thing the bad guys want to steal. So that's cool. I guess God Kabuto is kind of weird, I will admit, like this big canon thing, but I'm interested to see the other 2. It's just, I feel like what I'm very curious about is that, like, saying the Bugnarok need these 3 things to reclaim Earth feels like a season-long thing, right? Or at least a thing that would take some period of time. But now we know it's this thing that these quarter 1 toys are the thing. So we are wrapping up this plot thread by like episode 15 or something, at least around that point, because by then we probably should have all these toys released. So it just makes me curious, like, where does the show go from there? I'm very interested, because I don't recall, like, Kamen Rider does this all the time. Like, oh, you need the 10 Vice stamps, and nothing happens once you get all the 10. You just have to collect all the 10 Vice stamps. So in this case, it's like, you need the 3 bugs. What happens after we get all the 3 bugs? Because the Bugnarok want them. Actually, what I was speculating is that they want the 3 bugs, and then after they lose the 3 bugs and the KINGOHGERs get them, then they're like, okay, well, what if we did this? And they make the Spider 6th Ranger, and then he starts attacking everyone. Because I'm very dead set that this 6th Ranger is from Bugnarok. It's a Bugnarok creation. And he's gonna start out evil. That's like, I'm pretty much, I'm going all in with that, because I feel like it lines up so well. It's like, you can make him, once he turns good, you could make the twist on the kingdoms everyone is from, is he's from Bugnarok, the Bugnarok kingdom, and then, like, he's a spider. Spider, like, logically is, like, evil. No, that's messed up. I apologize to all the spiders watching this stream. But I mean, like, yeah, I mean, a Spider Ranger is a big deal, which is why it's a 6, because it's spider. If you rank the popularity of insects, spiders are obviously the most popular, but they're also, like, not really insects, and they're also kind of, like, scary looking, so it's like you can make him the bad guy. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going on a long rant about spiders. The thing I really like, though, about the about this God Kabuto thing is that we're still getting other auxiliary mechas. I don't recall. I believe the top thing is called the pill bug, and the bottom thing's obviously a snail. I think it's like called the snail roller or Gatling or something. And I think the top thing is called like the pill bug hammer, even though it's not a hammer, it's a chain array thing. But they have special names. But the thing that I really love is these aren't called God. Like, it isn't God Pillbug or God Snail. They're called like Guardians. I think it's like Guardian Snail, Guardian Pillbug, or something like that. So they have these like we have different tiers of mechas. We have the gods that make up the gods that make the actual robot up. Then we have God Kabuto, Bata, and Sasori, which will be used to form these powerful upgrades to KINGOHGER and eventually have plot relevance. But then we got these little guys that are just like little weapons, and they let them sell toys, they let us get more mecha combos, but then like it doesn't really affect the story at all, because we've already established there's multiple of all the bugs. We just have So, I mean, this kind of fits actually as well with what the show established, that we have god bugs that will be important to the mecha combinations, and then we have so many other little bugs that can just become little weapons for King-Ohger. And what's really funny is that it reminds me of its contemporary season, Kamen Rider Geats, where, at least in the beginning, now that's kind of gone away, but originally we had like only Magnum and Zombie as the big buckle forms, and then we had all the little raised, or the armed buckles. And as the show went on, we got more armed buckles and more bigger buckles, and it was a way to like create this differentiation. Like people with smaller, there's like smaller buckles that give them forms, only give them weapons actually. And it's a way to sell toys, a way to like spice up the fight scenes, but you still keep like the actual Kamen Rider forms with the big buckles. You keep them like special. You make it like you have to earn it at a certain point. So I love that Sentai has taken some inspiration from that, where we've got God Kabuto, and we're getting other god mechas, but then we can still get little small friend mechas, that just are, again, they're just friends. They're Gatling gun, and as everyone has told me, it is rolling hammer, so thank you for that. Guardian Snail and Guardian Dango Mushi. So I really like this. As I mentioned, I think my favorite part of the King-Ohger aesthetics right now are King-Ohger himself. I think it's a really cool looking mecha. After watching episode 1, actually, I was very tempted to buy the mecha. Which actually, I think I will go buy the mecha. Not right now. At a certain point, I think I will buy the mecha. Because I also do want Dono ni Taijin, so maybe I'll buy them together eventually. Yeah, King-Ohger is a very cool looking robot. The toy's also just very posable, and that's kind of enticing to me. But it also just looks really cool, and I like it. Very cool. So we also know, I think we're getting more of these, or at least a couple more of these little weapons early on. I think, I don't remember, but I do believe in that original leak we got a while ago that one of the things is, we're getting more weapons. I don't remember what the weapons are, but we're getting more of those. Obviously, we're getting 2 more of these. So yeah, King-Ohger, and obviously, if you saw episode 1, or sorry, if you saw my videos on King-Ohger episode 1, you know, and I'm very excited for the show now. I wasn't really feeling it that much. The suits weren't amazing. The characters didn't really grab me. They just was like, okay. But now after watching that first episode, everything has really grabbed me. They did a really cool like introduction to all the characters. The suits, it didn't change my opinion on the suits, of course, but I like the characters themselves now, this world that they're in. That I like the suits enough that obviously it doesn't really, I mean, I wasn't gonna not watch the show because of the suits, but I wasn't watching it for the suits. So now that's basically still relevant. So it's kind of blocked off here, but I do not like how we're not showing off Black's his little friend, the guy with the mask. What's his name? Kuroko, I think. Why does he not get to be in these? We got Rita and her friend that sounds very young but like has silver hair, so I don't know what the age is going on there. Then we don't get the Kuroko man. What's up with that? I think this is messed up. There's I think a few of these shots are from episode 2 as well, where we've got the Bugnarok. I like how I'll talk about episode 2. I think it's very funny that part of Nkaskopa is just urban Japan. It's just, like, they've got all of these, like the first episode at least, they put it entirely in like this village because it's supposed to be like this medieval environment and all the CG backgrounds and stuff. And next episode 2 is having all these backgrounds and stuff, and then now we go to urban Japan, normal Japan. It's part of this country is actually just Japan, which is a little known fact. Metropolitan Japan. So it makes me curious what they'll be doing for the environments of the other countries. Are parts of the other countries also Japan, normal looking Japan, or is it gonna be It's not good. Like sure. I do one thing that I think is kind of it has me a little bit confused with episode 1 is like the countries seem very, I guess not the countries. I mean, I guess they only showed us the castles, so I don't really have a huge idea of like the scale of the countries. This is not a complaint of the show, by the way. I'm just spitballing here. I'm curious. Like, I don't have a feeling of like the scale of the countries because we only saw Shugadam. So like, and obviously we're seeing Inkaskopa next episode, but like, what goes on in Rita's country? Like, is is Rita's country just the castle? Cause surely it's not, right? I don't know. I'm sure we'll expand on the countries as we go visit the other ones. But yes, Shiny Reeves said, like, do the other countries even have cities? Like, we didn't really see like any other city. Like, it's just the castle. Like, what they showed us is just the castle. So as far as we know, what Gokon, where Rita is, it's just the icy castle. That's all we know is in that country right now. Same with the other two with names I forgot. Those are funny. I think it's funny. We'll find out, of course. Fighting, like everyone's fighting. Yeah, I don't know. There's not really much not much to say to show off here because the show just started, and I assume they want to keep things a little different. They want to keep it hidden. And we already know a lot of stuff coming. We already know about the 6th, what the 6th will be. It's interesting, actually. They haven't shown off Okuagata, the Silver Ranger, which is presumably going to be Racules. Or I don't know, I've seen some people are like, oh, we don't know if it's Racules, but I could have sworn it was confirmed it was Racules in like I think in the press conference. Some people were saying in the press conference they said that Racules was Okuagata. They just didn't show off the suit. And then they still haven't shown off the suit, which makes it even more weird. It's like, guys, I've seen that plushie. I know exactly what that suit looks like. You don't have to hide it anymore. I'm aware of the suit's existence and what it looks like. You don't have to keep it a secret. But it's fine. You can keep playing coy, I guess. But you can play hard to get. But I know the secret of Okuagata Ohsger. That's what I'm trying to say here. So I'm just curious where is Okuagata? Like, why are they hiding it? All right, I mean, I get why they're hiding it. I just want to know where it is. I want to see it. Show me it now, Toei Studios. Do I think Okuagata is going to be in place for this purple Sentai place? Yeah, honestly, after episode 1, I thought he was going to be like a Deca Master kind of guy. Or like Maji Mother or something like the Mentor Ranger. But now after seeing episode 1, I'm like, wait, that man is evil. And now I think he's going to be, now I think he's going to be a rival, which is going to be very fun to have a rival. The classic Red Ranger rival, but the Red Ranger rival's a silver repaint of the Red Ranger, as opposed to a purple repaint. I guess is Don Murasame counted as a rival to Don Momotaro? Because he was barely a rival. Like, they fought once, I think, right? And then Murasame went off and fought everyone else like other times and then joined the team. But I would not count that as like a Red Ranger Purple Ranger rivalry. The rivalry in that season was definitely more Taro and Senoi. But also, does that count as a rivalry because they're gay? Like, is that really, they were in love? I'm not sure if I'd say that was a rival. I don't know. It depends on your perception of love, I guess. If people fighting constantly is love to you before obviously they get married, if that's love. Anyways, sidetrack. Also, yeah, it's we still don't know how Okuagata transforms. Maybe that's why they're keeping it secret, because we have to, because it's presumably gonna be a premium Bandai product. So go to hell, Bandai. And I get last time, what they've been keeping premium Bandai products recently hidden until they appear in the show, right? Because I'm trying to think. I don't think, at least in Dawn Brothers, Murasame, we did not see Murasame until he appeared in the show. We did not see the Noto overseers. We did not see them until they appeared in the previews, which I'm counting as Premium Bandai because of their changers. What else? In Revice, we did not see the Demons driver, or the Libera driver, or the Destrin driver, or the Veil driver, or the Weekend driver. Or... God damn it. They have so many freaking... so many belts. We did not see any of those until they were in the previews. However, we did see in Geats, we did see the Jamato buckle in the previews before it was in the show. But other than that, Geats hasn't had any Premium Bandai. Oh no, the Vision driver. Yeah, we did see that in the previews. So yeah, I guess it's up in the air. They could be hiding it because of premium. I mean, at least in Sentai, it seems like they like hiding the Premium Bandai stuff until it's in the preview. So, oh well. I am curious. What's the transformation? I know we talked about this last time, I think, but I am still curious what the transformation device of Okuagata would be, because I mean now at this point it's pretty much confirmed he won't be using the sword. I feel like it was still up in the air, like whether or not he would use the main sword, but now he's not. So I could see them. Well, they're probably gonna do a repaint of the Oja caliber, right? That's just how these Sentai evil changers kind of go. They just repaint the main changer. But how will the switches be affected? Because surely he will not. They don't need to put that Tonbo piece on the sword because he's not. No one's gonna use that to transform, right? I mean, unless someone does use that to transform, which is entirely possible. But I mean, maybe they'll just take all the other switches and it's just Kuwagata, and then he flips it and it's then he just like they only have an insta transform, like the toy you can instantly transform. So maybe they'll just have that kind of idea. He only instantly transforms, which would be kind of a fun twist to have him. Like, he doesn't get the big fanfare because he's, like, evil. But is he evil? That's up to you. I'd say he's evil. I don't think we got anything from the Noto that aren't Sonoi, Sononi, or Sonoza. Please don't remind me of that. I'm still waiting for Noto Brace 2. Okay. It's time for the Noto 2. It's time for the Premium Bandai raid. Okay. Why does Bandai, why are they so random with like their announcements for stuff these days? Because before it was very like, oh, this thing debuted in the show, it's gonna be announced the next day. But now it's like, it's so up in the air whether or not they'll actually announce stuff after they debut in the show. And the reason they won't announce it is so random. Like, okay, let's look at Revice, right? The Veil driver debuted, and then they waited months to announce it because the Deathstream driver was a thing. So it's like, okay, yes, it makes sense. You delayed it because you were going to announce it with the upgrade. Makes sense. But then in Dawn Brothers, at the same time, they announced the Ninjark sword was announced like a week after Don Murasame debuted. He wasn't even in the episode that aired that week. They just went, hey, here, ooh, don't hit the microphone. They just went, hey, here's the toy. And it's like, okay, I don't thank you. But why now? Why didn't you announce this after he actually debuted in the show? Even the original Noto Brace set was just like a random episode of Dawn Brothers happened, and then the next day they announced the brace set. I don't even recall. I'm fairly certain the Noto weren't even in the episode that happened that week, and then they announced the toys. So it's like, what happened here? Why did you? What? Okay. And then what? Like in Revice again, the troopers came out like they announced like the day after when they usually announce. So like Premium Bandai, like recently, they'll just like, before you could pretty consistently say like they're announcing it the day after the episode airs. For my time at least, I'm looking at it my time. I think it might be their time as well. But sometimes now they like wait like a day later to announce it, or like there's like some Wednesdays at least like recently that's Wednesday has become the random Premium Bandai announcement time, because this last week they announced the big Ankoku Ken Kurayami was announced on a random Wednesday, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine, I guess. This was the day you chose. Before that, the Memorial Orb, or the Ultra Replica Orb Caliber was announced on a same random Wednesday, and it's like, oh, I guess Wednesday's Sword Day for Premium Bandai. But then, like, there's stuff like the Vision, like, sometimes they'll hide, they wait to announce stuff because there's a feature they don't want to spoil, so they wait until it happens in the show and then they can announce it. But then sometimes they'll announce the toy and then they just will reveal later it has a new feature. Like the day after Glare debuted, they announced the Vision Driver, and I was like, okay, yes, that makes sense. The Rider debuted, showed off the toy, and then months later Gazer happened, and they were like, he uses the same belt, and they were like, oh, by the way, the toy you already ordered comes with this extra sound. And then a couple weeks, I think it was the week after Glare 2 debuted, right? The week after Gazer debuted, we got Glare 2. They didn't announce the sounds like the day after. They waited like a few days later. So again, just random timing. Then they were like, oh yeah, we also put in the Glare 2 sound. So it has everything you've seen in the show. They didn't wait to announce it until we saw everything it did in the show, which is also what they did for Geo a few years ago. After they announced the Mirai driver and was like, look, it can do Shinobi, it can do Shinobi, Quiz, and Kikai sounds. And then a few months later, Kamen Rider Ginga debuted, and they were like, oh, by the way, Ginga's thing is included in the toy, and you can do that too. And it's like, okay, cool, thank you. But then it's like, wait, why couldn't Revice do that? Like, here's the Veil driver. It comes out in multiple months, and a couple months later, then, oh, by the way, there's this extra piece that's included because it's a thing you need, or just make it a separate set. But I guess that's kind of stupid. So what I'm trying to say is, I hate Premium Bandai, not because of the prices. Well, yes, because of the prices, because that's still stupid. But also, just like, why are they like this? Just announce stuff. Please be consistent with your announcements, because I'm still waiting for Noto Brace Set 2. I want to order those braces, because as I've mentioned, I really like those characters, and one of them specifically, and I like a toy of them. That would be a toy I would like of them, because I like the idea of the Noto braces. When they did when they didn't announce Tsunoshi's brace immediately, people were like, I wonder we assumed they were coming back, so it's kind of like, okay. Then they come back with 2 new friends, and it's like, okay, here's the Noto brace set 2. Did not happen. And then we learned that Sonona and Sonoya were using their braces, so it was like, oh, okay, I guess they're waiting for those 2 to use it so they can like market it. But it's also like, they could have just announced Noto Brace Set 2 after they debuted, and then after Sonona and Sonoya did their thing, then it's like, oh, by the way, this toy you already bought is going to have sounds for these horrible people. Have fun. And then they didn't do that either. Now the show's over, we got the Memorial Dawn Blaster, and it's like, where is Noto Brace Set 2? What I'm trying to say is, where's Noto Brace Set 2? I was talking with Legion of Boom on Twitter, and they brought up the only plausible explanation, which is that it's possible that there's a 7th Noto in the stage show, the final stage show, the final live tour, I guess more specifically, and they would be giving that Noto a toy, and that's going to be in Noto Brace Set 2, which makes sense, but it's just like, you could announce Noto Brace Set 2, and then when this stage show happens, like in a month or two, now it's like, hey, by the way, this comes with another little piece of plastic. Have fun. Yeah, I don't yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. I'm not really. So yeah, guys, what premium Bandai things have you ordered or said about? Actually, I haven't ordered it. That's why I'm upset, because I haven't ordered it. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's also, they don't have Udos either, but that's probably Udos are probably not going to happen of those, which is sad. I would probably buy Udos of them, because Sonoshi's suit is very good. When I saw that suit, I was like, oh my goodness, they really, I was like, they went all out with a one-off character, and then they came back, and I was like, oh, never mind, you went all out with a recurring character. That makes more sense. When the Glazer and Glare 2 EP showed up. I don't know what that is referring to. Did they put the Vision Driver back up for pre-order? Oh, did they put the Vision Driver back up for pre-order when Gazer and Glare 2 EP showed up? Yes, I think when Gazer debuted, then they were like, we're making new waves of the Vision Driver. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they have no problem saying, like, we're making a new wave of stuff because we just showed you there's more stuff, and maybe other people want it now. So it's like, you could do that, guys. You could announce a toy, and then later say you're making, like, they had like 10 waves, not 10, they had like 5, like genuinely like 5 waves of the Demon's Driver, I feel, because it was just so popular and people kept ordering it, and then new stuff kept coming out for it. So they're like, hey, by the way, when you order Kuwagata stamp, you could also order this 3rd wave of Demon's Drivers. So if they put P Bandai toys back on pre-order when they announce a new thing to a toy, that makes sense. Yeah, you mention of the Revolve Change Seeker set. That also reminds me, like, with with Geats, they're doing a lot of premium Bandai RCF figures, and the announcements for that are weird too. Like, I think a couple weeks ago they just randomly announced the Fever set, and it's like, okay, that's cool, but also we have not seen Fever Magnum or Fever Boost since they debuted. So why now? Why is this when you chose to announce this? I don't know. Is the Fox Animal Boost Mark II form by Ace, or it's just an upgrade of the Boost Striker? Well, it is Ace using the buckle in the belt. And presumably it is like him merging with the Boost Striker, since he's going to be able to access that Kitsune form, that Fox form, when he revolves on. So it presumably is like a fusion with the Boost Striker, and that's why too it looks so much more motorcycle-y and foxy, because it is him combining with the Fox bike thing. So yeah. I remember too, like, saying at Premium Bandai when the Laser Razorizer was announced, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, it's retail, it's not premium," and I was like, "Yeah, that better be retail. It doesn't really. I mean, it does a lot, but it's also like, that's a super form, guys. I don't think they'd make that a Premium Bandai item." The God Kabuto toy looks very big. I wonder how much shipping is from Japan. I don't think it's that big. I think it's very tiny. Like, I mean, when it's extended, it's very big, but I think it's released in the Kabuto form. So, yeah. Thank you for showing up, Donnie Pearson. I'm glad you had fun. Oh, that's a fun idea. I think Boost Mark II may go back to Mark I after Ace does the finisher. That would be really fun, actually, because yes, I am very curious how it will play into the way Boost works, because we know Boost goes away after you do a Boost time. So is it the same thing with Boost 2? Does Boost 2 go away after you do a Boost time? However, we do kind of see, you can kind of see in this shot that he's holding up Boost, or he's holding up Boost Mark II before he puts into the belt, and we see from previews of next episode that he's holding up normal Boost in the same position. So it seems like Boost 1 upgrades to Boost Mark II. So then, is it permanent? Does Boost permanently become Boost Mark 2? Is it is Boost permanently Mark 2? Does it go back to Mark 1 like after he's the boost time? That would be really fun actually, because then he just then it's like, oh man, actually, that would be so much fun, because then like if he uses Boost Mark 2 as a finisher, then it goes back to Boost Mark 1, and then if he uses that as a finisher, then it just goes away, and now the whole cycle repeats. But then it's fun too, if he manages to get Boost again, he can just upgrade it to Mark 2. He can choose to upgrade it to Mark 2, or he could just use it as his base form. He could use Magnum Boost again. Or, yeah, there's like a number of things they could do. That's really fun. I don't want to say I wish they do that, because I genuinely don't know what I wish they do, because I'm just interested in seeing what Boost 2, like how that mechanism of Boost will work with Boost 2. Like if he upgrades it to Boost 2, then uses a Boost time, and it works like normal Boost and it just flies away, is it just permanently Boost 2 now? Like, can no one else ever use Boost form again? But surely they won't do that, right? Because it's one of the toys sold with the belt. So maybe they'll just introduce a new Boost, since I guess for some buckles they can make multiples. So maybe they can just make another Boost buckle, and then now other riders could use Boost. Now there's a Boost 2 out there someone could use. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Is Boost Mark 2 a super form? Yes, Boost Mark 2 and Laser Boost are both the super forms. It's another Saber, another Revice situation. I'm like, originally I was kind of like, oh, okay, so we're doing this again. Like, Reiwa keeps, as I mentioned earlier, Reiwa keeps doing this thing of like, at least the last 2 years, we keep getting 2-part super forms, I guess. But with Geats, it just makes sense, because with like the marketed base form, Magnum Boost, he can also access Boost Magnum, Boost top and bottom, and Magnum top and bottom. So it just makes sense that the super form would have multiple modes, or at least like 2 different. For this show, it just makes sense he would have 2 different forms. And I guess in Saber it also made sense, because the way the books work, and Revice, it just ties into the fact there's 2 main riders. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just complaining about nothing. I wasn't even complaining, so I don't know what I'm talking about. What about Golden Fever and Command to Win? Fever Slot is just a buckle. It's not really... The Fever Slot is like the show's equivalent of Drago Knight Hunter from X-Aid. And then Command is the upgrade form, so it's the show's equivalent of Mighty Brothers from X-Aid, or Sparkling from Build, or Bodied and Volcano, I guess, in Revice, because Revice did 2 things again. I hope they try to show what happens if you use Magnum and Boost 2. It does not seem like it. Boost 2, at least as a toy, will block out any other buckles you try to use. As you can see it better here. Like, it covers up that other light piece. So, at the very least, you can't use any big buckles. You might be able to squeeze a small buckle. Obviously, the toy's not out yet, so you might be able to fit a small buckle over there, but the big buckles will not work with Boost 2. There's a toy, and then that means in the show it won't work, because you can't fit that in. But actually, I've already, and other people have already, like, played with the pin combos with the Boost Mark 2 and Boost Mark 3, and 2 and 3 will actually work the same with any other buckle. If you use Boost Mark 2 in the Magnum, it'll play the Magnum Boost jingle. So, it kind of makes sense then why the toy won't work with the other buckles, because you could just use normal Boost to get the sounds, because it makes the exact same sounds. So, it makes me even more interested for what Boost Mark 3 will be doing, because we don't know. We haven't heard anything about Boost Mark 3. We have actually, with this, we have now reached the threshold of stuff we know in Kamen Rider Geats, because we haven't gotten like any actual catalog scans or like leaks in forever. the only thing we got is like someone's random description of the final form, but we don't even know if that's true. Like, we don't know if that person was lying or not, because I think it came from like I don't remember if it came from like an actual source that we know was at that Bandai meeting. But like we don't have any like listings like Geats final form comes out June. Like, we usually would always have at least like the toy listing. We have 0 toy listings from this point on, so we don't know when that final form comes out. We don't know what that final form is for sure. We just have this random leak / rumor of the final form is allegedly Boost Mark 9, and it uses some special pin combo that's already in the belt, but it's hidden. But like myself and a lot of other people have already tried like different things with different things, and we don't know what Boost Mark 9 is. So I have like an idea, but it doesn't seem like 100% right. So yeah, Boost. I think it's, my theory was that it's Boost Mark 3 on one half, and there's some other device on, or other buckle on the other half, and it will upgrade Boost Mark 3, and then the form is just called Boost Mark 9. But other than that, like, I don't really know what else to tell you. So, is Jean animal motif also a fox? I believe so. I mean, it just makes sense to be a fox. Since Beroba's a bull, it makes sense that the other one would be a fox. Like, Beroba and Jean don't match the colors of their supporter riders, but they have the same animal motif, while the other two don't match the animal motif of their supporter riders, but they have the same colors, which is fun. If you assume that the color yellow is now the color gold, like Nago. There is, like, no description of the final form. Like, we don't have a description of what it looks like, I think. We just have a description. I believe the only descriptions we got is that it's called Boost Mark 9. Part of the sound is already in the belt, but it's hidden. No one's found it yet. And the belt will look like a plump kitsune. That's all they said. We don't know anything else beyond that. We just know, if that's even true. That's the only info we have. Unless in the time I've done this live stream, someone's uploaded like an image of Boost Mark 2 on Twitter. Sorry, not Boost Mark 2. Someone's uploaded the actual full catalog scan. No, no one's done that. So yeah, we don't really have any actual description of what is happening with Boost, the final Boost. So my theory is that it's Mark 3, and there's some other device that you attach to it. I went on a video. I made a little video on Twitter about it. But basically, my idea is it's Boost Mark 3 is one half of it. The other half is another, like, another Magnum Evolution raised buckle. So then it's another, like, upgrade to Magnum Boost, but it's called Boost Mark 9. And the way the other buckle piece works is it, like, upgrades Boost Mark 3, so it makes it Mark 9, essentially. So the form becomes Mark 9. The other thing is, like, an upgrade piece to the Mark 3 buckle, essentially. Am I going to do a review about Battle Royale in April or May? Yeah. Well, I don't want to say April and May for sure is when I'll do a video, but I will do a video on the Battle Royale movie, eventually. I mean, probably this year because it comes out. I will do a video on it. Do I think it will be Magnum paired with Mark 3? No, because that will just make the Magnum Boost sound. It won't make any unique sound if you do that. So, yeah. I guess Tycoon will have final form too, just like every secondary Kamen Rider. Yeah, like, we don't... The catalog didn't mention anything about, like, anything else. It just talked about the final form. So, we don't know if Tycoon is getting a new form from now until the final form. We don't know if Nago or Buffa are getting new forms. We don't know of any new, like, other whatevers. Like, we genuinely don't know anything from Geats beyond this point, other than there's a final form coming and it uses boost, which you probably could have speculated just by watching episode 1. So, yeah. What if the laser Raise Riser has some unique side effect on humans, so Geats can't use it all the time? Well, I mean, Jean's a human, as far as we know. So I don't think that's happening, but considering Ace wants to be a game master, what if the Magnum half is a vision driver gun? Yes, that sounds very cool. I could see them, like, I definitely think one half is gonna be Boost Mark III. What the other half is up in the air. If it's a vision driver redesign, that would be so cool. Like, it would be so cool to have the final form be relevant to this other rider system that we've had, like, developing throughout, or not developing, that just existed throughout the show. Like, it would be incredible to have, like, that kind of story connection between, like, the suits and the show, where it's like we've established there's this ultra powerful system of riders that no one has beaten yet. Like, Glare kind of was beaten, but he only got beaten because Niram fired Girori. But other than that, like, this rider system, or no, Beroba defeated Glare too. I forgot, but still, one of our main riders hasn't defeated, like, a vision driver rider yet. So it would be so cool then to incorporate that into the final form. And it obviously would fit into, like, his wish of wanting to be game master. Like, I guess after he wins and becomes the game master, then I don't know what what happens. Where does that go? Yes, I was. Yeah, if they made the other side Mark III, then yeah, 3 squared is 9. I was thinking that as well. They could be the square buckle because they squared the 3. There's something else too I was gonna mention. Oh yeah, the thing, like, on the topic of, like, Geats becoming the game master, like, it would mean that wish is granted, like, what, in a couple months or something, which would be very interesting because that doesn't seem like, I don't know, that kind of feels like it would be a wish he gets by the end of things. Like, he ends the show, becomes the game master, and is like, I don't want the Desire Grand Prix anymore, and it goes away. But, like, at the same time, Keiwa's wish also kind of seems like the final wish that's the name of a really cool song. That also seems like the last wish that will happen in the show, because it revives everyone, and now it's whatever. So I do think it's super, I really love how Geats has made this, like, I don't know what's going to happen in the show. We don't have any retail stuff that can tell us what's going to happen. The show itself has been so unpredictable to this point that we don't know what's going to happen. Like, I genuinely did not think that episode 1 would be a previous Desire Grand Prix ending. Then I didn't think that the next one would last only 7 episodes, and then that the show would actually be rotating through multiple Desire Grand Prix. What are we on now? We're on our 4th now, if you don't count episode 1. If you do count episode 1, then we're on our 5th. Which is crazy. I love that. So, like, yeah, I mean, it's very, very possible that Keiwa wins, and now we get to see returning players are in the game for, like, a last couple of episodes, or Geats wins, and he becomes the game master. But then, like, Niram becomes the bad guy, because Ace wants to get rid of the Desire Grand Prix, maybe, or Ace is just that guy, and he's the game master, but he's like, I still want to play, and or if he becomes the game master and he decides to make himself the main boss of the season, so he's this super powerful Kamen Rider and the other riders have to fight him, that would be so cool. I don't think they would do that, but that would be really interesting. I didn't really think of that. If they had, like, if he would be making himself the bad guy, like, in that case, that would be super interesting. So yeah, who knows where, because also, yeah, if he becomes, like, the game master, he would want to use the vision driver, right? But then if he use, but then like it's the show, he's the main character of the show. He has to use the main belt, right? So like then what if he uses the Desire driver, and he combines the Vision driver with it? So who knows? There aren't going to be any more sponsor riders, or supporter riders, whatever you want to call them, because the toy being out, they Crane Joe and other people have been pushing the buttons on the pins in the toy, and there are no other sounds. We know all the sounds this thing makes. It makes the 4 supporter riders sounds, and it makes laser boost, and that's it. There's no other sounds it makes. So there are, I mean, unless they somehow find some other way to get sounds activated, there are no other supporter riders that are going to be happening, and no other forms with the laser raise riser. But I don't think anyone thought we were getting more rider forms with the thing in the toy, or the toy in the belt. But in case you did, that is not happening either. Some wish can be granted in the Desire Grand Prix, and some wish cannot be granted. Well, yes, but they just don't allow the wishes they can't grant. Like, Ace wanted to see his mom, and they said no. So, I think Niram himself said that he allowed the wish for Ace to want to be the game master. Like, they had that line of dialogue with him and his assistant, and he said, hey, I want to see what happens if he wins. I think it would be pretty fun. So they allow that wish at least. So that wish can definitely happen. Does Geats have less upgrade forms than the last ones, or is it late with the forms? This is about the time we get. Well, okay. Well, when is Boost Mark 2 debuting? Next episode, so 26. So yeah, the super form is debuting pretty late this season. I believe in at least the previous Reiwa seasons, it was like 22, 23, or 21 even. I think Revice was 21. And then in other Heisei seasons, it's usually like 22 or something as well. So yeah, this year it is pretty late to get the debut of the super form. Because I think usually by this point is when, or like in a couple episodes, it's when like the second half of the super form would debut or something. So maybe Neon's dad is gonna be a final villain rider. I mean, yeah, it feels weird they'd cast Time Fire as a character and he hasn't really done. I mean, I don't want to say he hasn't done anything yet, because it's very interesting, the little tidbits he's been revealing to us about Neon and the Desire Grand Prix in general. Like, this last episode, now we know that, like, his family is from this time, and they're supporting the future people who came back in time. I think he said, like, he keeps the Jamato, like, secret from the public. Like, he's paying off, like, police and government stuff just so they don't talk about the Jamato. So he's cooking something. So as soon as he appeared, I speculated he was gonna be like a final boss kind of type, because it was like Cronus in X-Aid. Like the vibe he gave off was like Masamune's dad, and now it's Neon's dad. Or sorry, not Masamune's dad, Kuroto's dad. So yeah, he could definitely. I feel like surely he's gonna be a rider, right? Like, again, like, you don't. Would they cast Time Fire? I haven't seen Time Ranger, but I do know, like, when they showed off Time Fire was appearing in the show, everyone was like, oh my god, Time Fire. So I'm like, okay, yeah, they knew what they were doing casting a guy like that in the show, so surely he's gonna do something like as a rider or something to that effect, right? So we will see. Am I buying the Laser Raise Riser? Yes, I am. I have already bought it, actually. I have pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered the set with Boost Mark 2. So technically, it's not like in my Buyee warehouse, but yes, I have planned to spend money on it. So I will be doing an unboxing video of all of that and some other Geats stuff in the future whenever that arrives and I go ahead and open it. But for now, I do not have it, but yes, I will be having it. Do I think only 6 buckles Do I think only 6 big buckles is too little for big buckles and that they should have added more big buckles? No, I think this is perfect. I love them. Like, I love how we get to see all these forms recurring, how we get, like, in the beginning, we got the armed buckles, and it doesn't feel overcrowded. Like, we don't get all these buckles appearing all the time, or all these forms appearing all the time. Like, in Saber and 01 especially, 01 and Revice especially, I felt this. Like, we just got forms that appeared in, like, one episode, and then they disappeared. And it's nice to have, like, Magnum is consistently coming back. Monster is consistently coming back. It's very nice to have all these... It's nice to have all of these forms actually stay relevant. And the forms that have kind of dropped to the wayside were the armed buckles, but those are just, like, little weapon forms. So it's not like, oh, we're never going to see Geats wield a hammer again. So... How do I like the idea of the main cast being NPCs acting for the show? I don't know what you're referring to. Neon may have died as a kid, and her father's wish was to bring her back to life. I have seen that theory. I think that would be crazy. I don't know if Kamen Rider the Kid show would really go that far. Like, it does seem a little intense to be like, she died, and now you're a clone living in her footsteps or something. I think Ghost might have done something like that, though. I do think it feels like it might just be a thing of the mom and dad just wished for Neon as their child. I don't know if it was... Because actually, I think the theory, too, is that the kidnapping... when they showed that Neon was kidnapped in one of the early episodes, or the early episodes is when they showed that happened to her as a child, and then people said she died, and the wish from the dad was that she comes back to life. That's horrible, and I do think it would be interesting if they did that, because that's, like, such an interesting idea. It's just, again, it's a kid's show. I don't think they'd really go that far. Maybe they say she's just died and then they revived her. That's kind of what Double did, so maybe they'll do something like that. But I feel like being like, it was like, when she was kidnapped, she died. That's wild. So, yeah. What do I think they'll do with Boost Mark 3? I did mention this earlier. I think it's going to be the final form. I think one half of the final form is Boost Mark 3. The other half is some other buckle that's going to modify Boost Mark 3 and will make Boost Mark 9 as the form. Also, I have seen, I saw some other people speculating, like, if they do this, then Boost Mark 3 would be, like, the Hyper Muteki buckle? The Gashat, where any of the other riders could use Hyper Muteki as a Gashat, but it would give them the 10-second power-up, while only Xaid could use it for a whole form. So this would be the same thing. Any rider could use Boost Mark 3 as a form, but only Geats can use it as his final form with the other half. I think that would be really neat. How Geats, Tycoon, Neon, etc. aren't real people and are characters for the show. Well, I mean, they are real people. We've seen them as real. Unless you're saying it's all simulation, but I don't think it's all... Well, I think it's all simulation, but that would mean everyone's an NPC. Kamen Rider is a kid show, and yet it's always done darker themes. That's true. I mean, it just feels... Especially, I mean, I know Geats has been going, like, a little bit more mature, but I don't know, it feels, to me at least, I feel like if they were like, this child died, and now she's back, it's like, I don't know, that feels a bit like, wow, okay, that's... I mean, I would be here for it if they did that, but I'm also like, I don't know if I'd want to show my kid that if I was watching this show with my child, which does not exist. I'm just my theoretical child. How many more riders do I think they might get for the Vision Driver? I think they might be done with riders for the Vision Driver, because the toy comes out in like a month. So they wouldn't be able to add any... Once that toy's out, they can't really add anything else into it. So, I think we're done with Glare 2 and Gazer. I think we're staying with that. I think maybe we'll get one more, but that would have to be in the next couple of weeks before the toy comes out. I mean, granted, if the toy comes out at the end of April, then maybe we could get that's a lot of room to get one more between now and the end of April. But I think we're done with Vision Driver Riders. Yeah, Kamen Rider is a kid show, but at the same time, 01 had a terrorist organization that held people at gunpoint. We can't say that's adult, because then people will get very angry at that. I'm speaking from experience. I'm also like, I'm half joking, but I'm also not really joking. But like, yeah, didn't Build have someone's throat getting sliced? I do not remember that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't remember that. Wow, yeah, I don't remember that at all. Unless, oh wait, yeah, isn't that how? I don't want to spoil Build, but I actually I do kind of remember that happening. So granted, Build was kind of different. I don't know. It's weird. I don't want to say. Like, I mean, it's like, yes, Geats is a little bit more mature with its tone. They have been killing people, but it's not like very brutal. Like, they disappear into pixels. One of the multiples of them have come back, but it's like, I don't know, saying that this child died from a kidnapping just feels a little too real, I think, than like this panda bear dude disintegrated because a big monster smacked him. Like, it feels a little, that the other thing feels a bit much. This stream is probably getting demonetized, so that's fine. Do I think the first Game Master will return? No, I do not think he will, because the actor got flowers. So, Geats episode 9 had a baby get killed by a Jamatopon. I do remember that, but yeah, it was off screen. I mean, they just had a baby scream, and then they cut. And again, it's the same thing. If it's a monster doing it, I feel like it's less... I don't want to say it's less impactful, but it's like, it's just part of the genre, right? The monsters attack people. That's just like what happens. If you're like, this normal person did something bad, that's where it's like, I don't know about that one. Like, you know, it's like if robot, like in Transformers or something, like they'll show robots getting bloodied and murdered or something on a kid's show. But as soon as it's a person, it's like, whoa, we can't show like human blood, but we can show Transformers blood, robot blood, perfectly fine. So it's kind of that same thing. It's like a monster could do these bad things to people, but I feel like as soon as you switch the monster with a real dude, it's like, I don't know about that one. Like we never saw Kijino in Dawn Brothers actually kill someone. It was him manipulating the Noto, or like hitting Taro, and then the Noto killed someone, or like even again in we never saw like Noto straight up kill people. It was always as a suit they were killing people, if that makes sense. So Punk Jack literally suicide bombed. That is true, but again, he was a pumpkin bear, so I don't know what to tell you. Do I think Sunri will ever become a rider, or is she better as a character that does not transform? Right now she's not really doing anything, so I kind of wouldn't mind if she became a rider. She just kind of stands around and talks to people right now. So, what if Geats' final form is a Vision Driver upgrade, Force upgrade on himself? That's what I hope they do. Yeah, I think that would be cool. Maybe final form of Geats will be receiving the powers of his mom, maybe angelic 9 wings. I think they're saving the 9 for foxtails, 9 foxtails, because I think Kitsunes, I don't know how it goes. Kitsunes typically have 9 tails, or Kitsunes have, they're like the super Kitsune or whatever has 9 tails, but like 9-tailed Kitsunes is a thing. And right now we have 8, he kind of has 8 tails in this form, because the Boost Mark II gives him 6. With the 2 straps on the back are meant to be 6. So he has 6. And now he has 2 on the front. So he already has 8. So we just need 1 more. It's kind of like when X-Aid went up to 99 for his super form, and then the final form was like the extra step. He has no level now. So what are my opinions on Neon's mother's parenting method? I think she should get slapped, because that's what she did to Neon, and that's what I think. She's doing a bad job. It's fun. It's so sad for Neon because her mom is like a helicopter parent. Like, no, you can't do this without GPSs on you. And her dad's like, I don't need to give her love. She just needs to get it herself by playing this death match that I like seeing her play. It's like, wow, okay, that's unlucky. You can see why she's making that wish constantly to find true love, because she's not finding it at home. Cubists have 9 tails. Okay, I see. Do I think we're gonna see a berserk form like Jack Revice? No, I don't think. I think we've. Well, I don't know, the final form could be a berserk form, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like Boost Mark 9. Sorry, it doesn't seem like Boost Mark 2 is a super form. Laser Boost obviously is not super form. A berserker form. Doesn't seem like this is a berserker. Doesn't seem like this is a berserker. So I don't think we're getting a berserker this season. Which would suck because that means I lose points on Hercules' Toku predictions, but we don't have to worry about that. Everyone is trying to tell me dark things that have happened in Kamen Rider. Guys, I'm not trying to say that Kamen Rider doesn't have like mature moments or something. I also am kind of avoiding talking about that because every time I talk about something like that, people on Twitter shit on me. So I'm just saying, I don't think they'll do the Neon died as a child thing. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't think they'll do that. I know there's moments where they kind of do something like that. I just don't think they're gonna do it. Do I think Kyun is getting set up to be Neon's love interest? I don't know. It's very weird because it's like, oh, maybe he is, but on the other hand, maybe he's her descendant. And maybe that's weird. So maybe he's trying to help her find his great grandfather. Like maybe it's like that. That's why he's so supportive. But on the other hand, maybe he does like her and he's not her descendant. In that case, I guess it's fine. But then it's also like, I don't know. It's very, again, as I mentioned earlier with Geats, like I have no idea where things are going. So I don't know what direction they could take Kyun with that. I also don't know what direction they could take Kekura. Is he a real man or is he a frog in a speaker, or a speaker in a frog? That's to be decided. Is it bad I chuckled when Neon's sponsor showed her getting slapped in front of everyone? It's kind of messed up. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, it is a little. Where did they get that footage? Are they filming every aspect of the writers' lives when they're at home? I guess they would have to be, right? It's a reality writer show thing. So did everyone get to see whatever the hell Dapon was up to when he was not trying to murder people in the Desire Grand Prix? There's a lot of questions that got raised when they revealed that the reality writer show was happening. Like, no one saw Girori transform into Glare ever. Like, the producer did not see that. He was... I guess he did not see that. That's, yeah. I'm still wondering why Kekura is still a statue. Maybe he couldn't make it to the past in time and he was busy getting his gun and stuff. I don't know. At first, they were kind of like... It seemed like it was just a speaker in this frog. And then when Kayla picked it up, then he was like, hey, put me down. But it was kind of a joke, like, oh yeah, don't pick up the frog statue. And then it's a real man. But then the real man said, what do you think of my human disguise or something? And it was like, wait, disguise? Unless he was joking. But then in the latest episode, there was that scene. No, not the latest episode. Was it the latest? I think it was the latest, or it might have been the clip show episode as well. They had the scene where the frog teleported. Like, it moved forward. And they had a joke, and Kay was like, what? And they didn't address it at all. So it was like, is the frog sentient? It just sounds like there's a speaker in it. I don't know. There are many questions here about what this man is. And I hope they never address it. I think it would be very funny if he's always just this frog statue and no one talks about it. You think we will get a Jamato rider using 2 Jamato buckles? I don't think so. I don't think you could fit 2 onto the belt. I also don't remember what it looks like, so maybe you could. maybe Laser Boost has Jean controlling, so it's kind of like a hijack form. That would be interesting. That would mean I do win points on the Toku predictions run by Hawkillies, because I think I specifically said that he gets a buckle he can't control. But I think it will just be Geats using it. I don't know. I mean, it would be cool if it was Jean, but I don't think it's gonna be Jean using, or like in the gun or whatever. Kekura wants to be a frog. Jean says everything about you is predetermined before you're born. Oh, so his thing is, I want to be a frog. That's funny, though. He wants to be a frog, so he pretends to be this frog statue. But then, how does the frog statue teleport? How did it do that? What happened there? What's happening? I think we will see Buffa turn into a complete monster like Baron and Gaim. Yeah, I could see that happening. That would be really cool. Do I think the main 4 riders will each get a final form? No. I mean, we don't even... We just assume because this is how Rider works, but we don't even know 100% that we're getting a Tycoon's getting like a final form thing, because we don't have any listings for that. So, I mean, it just makes sense that it would happen, because that's just how these things work. What, at least, again, if you look at Reiwa, happened in 01, happened in what's the other show, Saber and Revice. They all got a final form before the main rider got their final form. So it just makes sense he'll get a new form, but we don't really have any idea. What do I think about the new live Evil and Demons movie? I have not seen it yet. It looks like a movie. I don't really have any opinions on it going into it. The only reason I would be seeing it is, I mean, honestly, to make a video on it. I don't really have any much interest in it. I have enough interest to be able to sit down and watch it for a video. Other than that, it doesn't really do a lot for me. How long did it take me to realize Azuma has bells on his cloak now? Well, it was in the episode, so I don't think I noticed in the catalog scans. Once I saw the episode, I did notice. The magic of the future. That's how the frog teleported. There you go. I'm gonna be. You know how everyone was complaining about Zenkaiser Black wasn't explained in Dawn Brothers. I'm gonna complain about this frog teleporting until they give us an explanation. How did it do that? As far as I know, frogs can't teleport, but maybe this one can. Could we possibly get a new set of riders with a new system, or no? Maybe like I want to say like no, because it's not in the catalog or like listings, but nothing's in the listings, so we don't know. It feels a bit late, I feel, to introduce a whole new system in this show, because they establish like multiple users for each rider system. So I don't know, it feels a bit, I don't know how it would work. Like what other, the audience members, I guess, becoming riders, that I would be here for that, actually. I would like that. But I'm not sure what context we get new riders, so I'm not sure if that would be happening. Really want Buffa to use Powered Builder next month. Yes, I would like Buffa to use Powered Builder, but also, I like Command on him. I think I would prefer if he stuck with Command and we gave Powered Builder to someone else. But also, I mentioned this earlier, I don't feel Powered Builder works with anyone except Nago. So, I don't know. Maybe the frog statue has wheels somewhere so it can move. Yeah, but it moved, like, from a table to another table. Wheels cannot do that. It teleported. Maybe K-Watt will get a different buckle and use Boost Mark 2. Same for Neon. That would be really... If someone else got to use Boost Mark 2 and another, like, piece attached to it, I would lose my mind. That would be incredible. But I don't think they'll do that. K-Watt being a ninja rider with a talking frog that becomes human is giving me memories of Shinobi. I mean, the frog CG model is taken straight from Shinobi, I believe, / Geo. I think this I think people realize it's the same model they used for the frog thing. So yeah, it is it is a Shinobi reference. Ooh, Nago uses power to build her because she's building her own love. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like that. Do I think there will be fusion forms in the show? I assume you mean like two riders fusing? Maybe? I thought they would do that. I actually did think they would do that. I thought one of the Geats forms would be like he uses some other buckle. Like he uses like two buckles, and when he revolves, like Keiwa takes command. So like they're in the same body. And then depending on what buckles on the top, depends on like what human is in control of that body. I mean, they could still do that. Maybe like the movie form, like build with cross build. Now it's Tycoon Geats, Kamen Rider Geats, Geats-kun. I don't think that sounds very good. I'm not gonna not gonna play with names anymore. I thought they would add something that would turn the Desire Driver into the Grand Desire Driver and would allow 3 buckles at a time. That sounds really cool, but that also sounds like a pain in the ass to wear as a suit actor. So I don't think they'll do that, because that would be a bit cumbersome. And also as a toy, that would be a huge toy. Not that they really care about the size of the toys, I guess, but I assume Kekra and Tycoon would fuse because Kekra's upper jaw sort of looks like a hat. He wears a little hat. That would be fun. If the other riders get fusion forms with their supporters, that would be pretty neat. But again, I don't see that happening. But maybe it would happen. I think we only have 2 forms left for Ace, Mark 3 and Mark 9. Yeah, possibly. Oh. What would I do if they reuse Majin's suit, not the Ranger form? I assume you're saying in the context of like a repaint, like they repaint it for something else. I would probably never watch Tokusatsu again. That would greatly upset me, actually. Like genuinely. I don't think they'll do that because Sentai doesn't really do a lot of repaints of like actual Ranger suits. At least to my knowledge, and that's a civilian, so I don't think they would touch those civilian suits. But I don't know. Is season 2 of Futo PI possible? I mean, I think there's more material in the manga they could adapt, and then the show didn't adapt it. There's more stuff they could do, yes. So I think it's possible, but they haven't announced it yet. So I don't know. And the show ended a while ago, so I don't know if it'll be happening. Which would be unfortunate. So I wish they let the laser buckle have some generic sound so they could give laser powers to the other riders. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, I can't see. And then they would have to use a different boost, a different piece instead of boost 2. Yeah, it does feel a little disappointing that the laser razorizer only does like laser boost in these other supporters. Like I kind of hope that we would get another supporter leaked from the toy. But it's fine. When is Fantasy Buckle appearing? I have no idea. I do not work for the show, so I don't know when anything actually happens. If Keiwa gets an upgraded buckle, would they call it the Shinobi Buckle? That would be so funny. That would be incredible. Not Shinobi 2022, but Shinobi 2023, yes. Have I listened to the full version of Trust Last yet? I have not. No, what am I talking about? Yes, I have. I've listened to it so many times. I don't know why I said I haven't. Yes, I have listened to the full version of Trust Last. I think I got confused in my head because I saw the comment below, which asked if I revisited Sinja. And the answer to that is I haven't revisited Sinja. That's pretty much, I've like thought about it since I like talked about it in the video. I actually have thought about it. I had like a whole kind of a concept of what would happen. But now, after watching, I'm not gonna lie, like, a lot of the things I had planned for Sinja's, like, forms, the riders, seeing Geats the show is kind of doing, or the forms, the riders were kind of done a lot in Saber and Geats, with, like, the faceplates, the mix and match. So honestly, if I ever revisited Sinja, I would definitely rework Sinja from, like, what I had, like, the base concept of, like, a cybernetic ninja thing. I would like to do that still, but I would probably rework, like, a lot of the concepts I had for the story and the writers and stuff, because they've had 2 shows that kind of do what I would have wanted. It's not the fact that they took my idea, I don't want to do anything with it anymore. It's the fact, like, they did it pretty much how I would have liked to do it, or even better. I think they did it better than how I would have liked to do it. So I'm kind of like, I want to do something else, essentially, is what I'm thinking. Especially, too, because I realized, too, I was talking on Twitter, one thing I would really love Kamen Rider to do, I don't think they'd ever do it, but I'd really like a season where only one person, like a main season, is only one person's a Kamen Rider. Like, only Geats is called Kamen Rider Geats. But obviously we need to sell toys, and we need to, like, the way Modern Rider works is we need multiple transforming characters. So my solution is we get multiple pseudo riders. We get, you can have, like, tons of different, like, little rider systems. So, like, we have the main guy using a belt. That's the only guy who uses a belt. The only guy who says henshin. Then, like, his supporting characters all use, like, in Geats, they all use guns, but they don't say henshin. They have a different transformation call. The bad guys use a different transformation device. Maybe it's a sword, and they don't say henshin. They all say something else. So only one guy uses a belt. Only one guy says henshin. Everyone else says something else. And until, like, I'd say, like, maybe the final boss, that's where you introduce another Kamen Rider with a belt that says henshin. That's where you're like, whoa, what's happening here? Like, we've got insane stuff is happening. But I kind of would, like, I don't know, I feel like I would want to rework Sinja to be like that, because you could have the main Kamen Rider Sinja himself has a belt, and then the shuriken thing can work with the other riders, or sorry, not the other riders, the other pseudo riders. They could use, like, if they all had swords and they spin the sword, like a shuriken on the sword, like ninja or something. That would be pretty cool as a transformation. So yeah, I guess Geats and Saber have inspired me to take Sinja in a new direction, is what I'm trying to say here. Futopia's anime takes years to make a new season. I mean, granted, I'm not saying you're wrong, but they did Gundam, the lesbian Gundam, season 2. They announced one very quickly after the original, and now it's happening very quickly after the first season. So unless those were planned together, which they might have, I don't know. Granted, I don't really know anything about anime, because Dyna Zenon took a while to come out after Gridman, but they announced it pretty soon. I think my thing is they haven't announced it yet. They haven't said they're making a season 2, and then they take a while to work on it. So, who is Natch Sparrow's supporter? It's me. I'm a supporter. Laser Boost is honestly a bad form aesthetically. They should have done a more sci-fi themed boost for that. I mean, it is sci-fi themed. It has blue lines on it. Some speculation on Fantasy Buckle. Yeah, I don't know what Fantasy is. I don't think Fantasy is going to be used for KWA. It's the thing is, like, the Fantasy sound, it sounds like a normal buckle. Like, it sounds like it works like any other buckle. So I don't think they would make it like a big super form or something. Like, what's the difference between this and Ninja? They both sound like normal buckles. So I think Fantasy is like either like a final boss rider or another rider that's going to be coming out, or like a summer movie rider is going to use Fantasy. It doesn't sound like a super form or like a final form for a rider to me. Because then, like, someone mentioned like you could use it. It's his version of Boost. Well, I mean, if it's his version of Boost Mark II, then sure. But yeah, I don't see them making it his upgrade for him. Because also it seems like a weird Progression Ninja fantasy when Geats has been, well, I mean, Geats, I was going to say Geats has been pretty consistent because he goes from like a Magnum boost to a laser boost, but in between that was this little brief spell where he had big cannons and a sword, which is also what Tycoon had, which is also what Buffa has, so, okay, we'll see. Maybe fantasy is for a V-Snex. That's definitely possible. They could say, it doesn't feel like, it feels like a buckle they're going to give to another rider. It doesn't sound like a power-up buckle. Wow, we have been streaming for almost 2.5 hours, so I think I'm gonna. I mean, we've been just doing like Q&A from this part on, so I forgot Disaster was here. So I'll take a few more questions and then about anything, and then I think I'm gonna head out because I just feel like heading out. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I mean, we don't have anything else to really talk about. We talked about everything. Look at all these pretty pictures. We've been consistently at like 81 viewers, or like 80. We were at like 150 viewers at some point, so that was pretty cool. So I'm glad. I like we had that many people here for me talking about Noto Set 2. So that's fun. I think it would be funny if Kekura's frog is from his in-universe persona. Are frogs personas? Because there is no fur on a frog. Would that count as a persona? I feel like it would be called something else. I feel like Fantasy was canceled, or maybe it was replaced by Gigant. I've seen a lot of people think it's canceled, but haven't seen. I mean, the only evidence that it's canceled is that it hasn't appeared yet. But Boost Mark II didn't appear yet, and here it is now. So I don't think it was canceled. It's just they haven't done anything with it yet. So, I miss Trilogy V-Snex movies like X-Aid. Geats could bring it back. I don't know. Geats has been. It seems like, at least. I mean, I don't live in Japan. I don't work for Toei, but at least to me, it seems like it's been very popular because they're making a lot of premium Bandai stuff that's just for the sake of premium Bandai. Like, it isn't Revice where it was like, oh, you like this character? Their whole equipment is premium Bandai exclusive. Have fun. They announced like that core ID set where it's just the core IDs, but the rider voices are in it if you push them down. They're doing like CSM straps, and like for the Desire Driver, which they've never done before. They're releasing like a Desire Driver that's just a Desire Driver if you want to put different core IDs in it, or if you want to get multiples for different core IDs. So it definitely feels like, at least looking at the toy releases, how much stuff they're doing that's just premium for the sake of premium for people who like the show. Seems like the show is doing pretty well. So it's very possible they'll do multiple V cinemas again, because Revice only has one. Saber only had one. 01 they did two, which doesn't make sense because there's a 1 in the name of that show, but that's the one they decided to do multiple. But anyways, am I gonna buy the Caliber sword from Saber? I assume you're talking about the full-size Unkoku Ken Kurayami. No, I'm curious what the price is. Hello, Toku Collectibles. What is your price on this thing? Actually, I do remember. I think the Japanese price was like $160. So we'll just see what Toku Collectibles has it at. Oh, what the heck? Oh, is this because of the different things? Well, that's weird. Interesting. So they have the China release is 170. The Japanese release is 280. But I don't know if the China release is the release that's already out that doesn't have background music and stuff. Oh, no, there is a Japanese and Chinese release. However, both are new style with dialogue and background music. So, interesting. The Chinese release is significantly cheaper. It's actually cheaper than what I've paid for like all of the Zenkaiger Memorial stuff. So that's not gonna lie, I should not have looked at that because now I'm like a little bit tempted. That's very cheap for what it is. But also I don't have the Saber, the full size Saber one, but then I could get that. No. No, I'm not buying it. I am saving for I mean, at this point it seems inevitable they're going to make a cross Saber. Then that's the one I would 100% buy, because I love that sword, and I'd love to have a full-size version of that sword. So that one I will buy, and I'll make a video on it. But Kurayami, if I make a video on the Kurayami sword, that's when you know I've bought it. We'll leave it at that, because I'll definitely make a video on it. Do I think the other power-up buckles have the sound in the buckle? That's why we don't know what they are. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, they definitely have... The power-ups definitely have the sound in them, because then we would have known about them by now. Where do I watch Kamen Rider? I torrent it. Pirating. Yo-ho-hoy. I could get into more details, but my friend Achilles has 2 different videos on how to watch Rider and Sentai, and you could just look that up and watch that. He goes into much more detail about how you could do it than I am willing to at this moment. So just go watch his videos, and he tells you everything you need to know. What would it take for me to buy the Kyomu? I would probably need to be given money to buy the Kyomu. Like, I think I need... you have to give it to me. You have to force it into my hands, and I'm like at that point I'm like, okay, well, I have it now. Might as well keep it. But before that, no, I don't know. I mean, if it's like $1 on Buyee, maybe. I will admit, as time goes on, I'm a little tempted to get it just to have more Seikens from Saber. But the Zast now is getting his own sword, so I need that. So, I need it for free. We'll put it at that. What would it take to get me to Kyomu? I need it for free. That's pretty much it. Am I ready for this week's episode? Yes. I want to see Boost Mark 2. I want to see Boost 2. I want to see whatever's happening. KINGOHGER. I was like, what is happening in the other show? We don't really know. I just want to see what's happening. Do I know when Ultraman will have a new Ultraman? They had an announcement, or they showed off a tease for Decker, or at the end of the Decker movie. So it's I think the 20th of April or 21st is when they showed off. We're getting new details on that. So yeah, that is when they're gonna show off a new Ultraman, and the show would happen like in summer at some point. So yeah, there you go. Who's my favorite supporter from Geats? Definitely not Beroba. She's a cool villain. I just don't really have a particular attachment to her. I think Kekker is funny because he's a frog, as we've discussed. I think Jean, I guess I like Jean just for the fact, like, the actor's a Kamen Rider fan that gets to be his own Kamen Rider. But the character himself, I wouldn't say is my favorite. Kyun, I like how interesting Kyun is, because we don't know what's happening with him. Like, we don't know if he really likes Neon, if he's, like, messing with her because he's, like, antagonizing her in public, if he's her descendant, if you're setting him up to be his lover, or her lover, or if he just likes her and he wants her to be happy and he doesn't really care what happens with her, or also, like, is he a piece of paper? Like, that is a question up there. Is he actually real or not? And also, they got a good actor for Kyun. So, but I think I'll say my favorite's Kekkara because he's a funny frog man. I have a funny feeling Laser Boost will debut in 28 because it's the last episode of March, and 27 seems too early to me. I mean, maybe, but the toy comes out next week for Boost Mark II. So it kind of feels like if they were saving the toy to come out when so you make the Laser Boost sounds, they waited until the Laser Boost sound actually happens in the show. That's my idea, though. But it's just my personal opinion, but I like Boost Mark II with black gloves instead of the red. I think the black gloves would look cool, but I like the red gloves, personally. Did I get the Genom Muso Gashat? Yes, I did purchase that. I have not opened it yet, because video. I'm waiting to make a video. I'm waiting to make that my last Gashat ever, actually. So it'll be a while, but I don't really mind. I'm happy to wait to make it like a big final thing. Unless they announce another like if Nico's getting another Gashat, then I'll make a video on it like right now, because then it will no longer be the last Gashat release, and I can wait. Do I think Kekere is actually a statue, or is he just hiding behind the scenes? At this point, I do think he's an actual frog statue. Teleporting frog statue. There is more evidence that he's a frog statue than that he's a real man. That's where we're at, all right? Like, that's, at least to me, it seems like there's more evidence he's a little frog. So, do I know why Build and Geo's summer movies were called by their theme songs? They wanted to be a little silly, I guess. I don't know what other reason they really thought. They just wanted to be a little. They wanted they were out of ideas, actually, for the names, so they were like, screw it, let's just steal the theme song name. Well, with that, I think we'll leave it. Yeah, we'll leave it here. So, thank you everyone for showing up to the March live stream. Did I stream in February? I don't think I did. So it's been a while. Thank you for showing up, everyone. As usual, be sure to subscribe. On the lookout for new videos. Again, I don't really know what other videos I'm releasing this month 100%, but might do another live stream before the month is over. So make sure you're subscribed so you can check that out. Also, be sure to check out my Twitter for Twitter things. Go to my Discord for Discord things. My Instagram. Follow me on Instagram because I do Instagram things sometimes. I might do like a weird Q&A thing on Instagram soon. So you might want to follow me there so you can stay tuned for that and ask me questions. Then I can't even do my outro correctly. Check out my Patreon for whenever I make my next video. Then you can see it early. And that's that. So I hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching, everyone. Oh, and I forgot. And thank you for 30,000 subscribers. I will be planning some things to do to celebrate. But for now, thank you so much. It means a lot. And I hope to see you next time.